Here are the top stories of the news. At least 11 people were electrocuted to death and others injured in Zaria local government area of Kaduna. Federal Executive Council approves the construction of 132 kV substations in Yobe State. On the foreign scene, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine is alive in first foreign trip since Russia invasion. Good afternoon and welcome to the Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Femi Olanipekun. At least 11 people have been electrocuted to death and many others injured in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State. The incident occurred yesterday afternoon at Gwagwaje area of Zaria local government, leading to the burning of some buildings and business premises. According to the management of Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, the tragic incident was caused by a high-tension line snap on the low-tension line, which resulted in a voltage supply outside limits. The management expressed sadness about the incident and sympathized with the families of those who encountered losses as a result of the incident. And President Muhammadu Buhari says he is ready to campaign for the All Progressives Congress APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu and other candidates of the party in the 2023 general elections. In a statement late last night, the presidential spokesman Garba Shehu disclosed this, stating that the president is ready for the 2023 campaigns with full energy and conviction. He stressed that while he remains committed to party politics, the functions and duties of the president will equally be upheld at times. He further expressed a strong optimism that the party will win all the elections fairly and squarely. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has paid a visit to the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Tinubu, in his Abuja residence. Osinbajo's spokesman Laolu Akonde made this known in a Twitter post and described the meeting as a friendly visit. Also, during Osinbajo's visit to Tinubu were the APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima, former Speaker of the House of Representatives Meji Bankole, and other APC bigwigs. Osinbajo had lost the APC presidential primary to Tinubu early June and was omitted in the long list of APC Presidential Campaign Council. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, says he will rebuild and secure Nigeria if he is voted in as president of the country in 2023. He gave the assurance in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, yesterday during the presidential campaign rally of the party, stating that his government will secure Nigeria as one united entity and as a federating unit. He added that his administration will ensure the rule of law and move Nigeria from consumption to production status as a nation. Obi also promised to assist Cross River State to develop its tourism. The presidential hopeful further called on the crowd not to vote for people they did not trust. President Muhammadu Buhari has commissioned the first African Quality Assurance Center in Shagamu, Ogun State, with assurance to implement the Nigerian Quality Infrastructure Policy. Buhari, represented by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, said infrastructure policy is aimed at ensuring acceptability of Nigerian product in the global market. He said that the center would encourage such a policy and give confidence to producers, manufacturers that raw materials from Nigeria are of the highest acceptable quality. The president further noted that the center would help in job creation, address unemployment challenges, and put Nigeria's industrialization on sound footing. President Muhammadu Buhari says the government has edged forward in promoting sustainable development by creating a digital application iMark. President Buhari will launch the digital application at the council chamber of the State House, said innovation would help to forestall the practice of abandoning projects as all stakeholders would continually interact on one platform. The president said the app would provide regular updates on the status of capital projects across the country through bottom-up interactive processes. The iMark enables citizens to monitor and evaluate capital projects in real time with unimpeded access to information and stakeholders, including contract terms and the contractors. And the Yobe State Governor, Mai Mala Buni, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari-led Federal Executive Council for approving the construction of 132 kV substations in Nguru and Gaidam. The Buni, in a statement by his Director General, Press and Media Affairs, Maman Mohammed in Damaturu, said the substations would improve the lives of people in the border communities. Buni explained that the substations would also boost the power supply to create wealth and employment opportunities, adding that the communities are enterprising with robust commercial activities and would be improved with a steady electricity supply. The governor added that the Buhari-led administration has given the people of the state a sense of belonging. He called on the people of the state to continue supporting the Buhari administration for more dividends of democracy. A team of security agencies have raided the camps of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and its militant wing, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, in Ebonyi and Enugu State. In a statement, the Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, confirmed the development. He said the operation was carried out by troops of 82 Division in conjunction with the Nigerian Air Force, Nigeria Police, and the Department of State Services. He said that the troops came in physical contact with members of the secessionist group, resulting in an exchange of fire. He added that the troops neutralized some of the suspects, while others took to their heels, abandoning the camp. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has demolished the Joromi internally displaced persons camp. The Executive Secretary, Federal Capital Development Authority, Shehu Hamad, said the IDP camp was a dual-carriage road corridor with a rail model. It disclosed that the administration also demolished a number of shanties that were causing security challenges to the capital. He lamented the takeover of the slums that was supposed to convey dual transportation by hoodlums, adding that they constitute nuisances not only to the neighborhood, but the entire city. He further noted that those arrested with hard drugs and other substances during the raid would be handed over to the police. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, yesterday inaugurated the Blue Line Rail in the state. Sanwo-Olu's senior special assistant and new media, Jibril Gawat, made this known on his Twitter page, where he shared photos from the ceremony. According to Gawat, the first phase of the infrastructure works for the rail project has been completed and was inaugurated yesterday. The Blue Line is one of 7 Lagos Metro rail lines spanning from Marina to Kokomaiko. You're watching the Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
Evelyn Ohiole,
Hi.
King Eve. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? And you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. how are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine would be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and he feels so reserved. He really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? I know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday. They are saying it favors you, Are they vague so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of
Who are you now?
Well, MC Too Much said, he likes saying when I was in the world. And the last time I checked, well, it looks a bit innocent, facially, but deep down, is actually out of this world. We're all in the world now, as long as
Thank you so much for staying with us on the Spring News at 12, coming to you from Western Spring Television. The leader of the apex body of the Yoruba self-determination struggle, Ilana Omo Oodua worldwide, Professor Banji Akintoye, has stepped down from his position. It was gathered that Akintoye's resignation followed alleged infighting among members of the self-determination group. But in a statement today, the group's General Secretary, Tunde Amsat, said the former Yoruba Nation leader handed the baton of leadership to his former deputy, Professor Wale Adeniran. Amusat claimed that Akintoye was handed over the mantle of leadership. Amusat claimed that Akintoye handed over the mantle of leadership to Adeniran, citing old age and a weakened body system as his reasons. In business, the Federal Executive Council has approved 87.4 billion naira for the construction of Section 1 of the Mina Zungeru Tagina Kotangora Highway. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, disclosed these while briefing State House correspondents yesterday in Abuja at the end of the council meeting. Fashola disclosed that the highway project was one of the 4 memos approved for the ministry by the council. He said the highway project approved in favor of a joint venture, the Valco HMF construction, would be funded as previously approved in 2021 under the tax credit scheme. The second memo was presented to council on behalf of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency for the award of a contract for the construction of the Sherry North Road that connects Lagos State to Ogun State. He added that the council also approved payments of pension for members of staff of the now-defunct Federal Mortgage Finance Limited. Bahamas-based Sam Bankman-Fried, former boss of failed cryptocurrency exchange FTX, has arrived by plane in New York to face fraud charges. U.S. authorities have said the 30-year-old was extradited on suspicion of committing one of the biggest financial frauds in U.S. history. Bankman-Fried, who denies the allegations, may appear in court later today. 2 of his former associates have pleaded guilty to related charges. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, announced that FTX co-founder Gary Wang and Caroline Ellison were both charged with roles in frauds that contributed to FTX collapse. They are both now cooperating with the Southern District of New York as court documents were released.
Week, we announced charges against Samuel Bankman-Fried for a sweeping fraud scheme that contributed to FTX's collapse and for a campaign finance scheme that sought to influence public policy in Washington. As I said last week, this investigation is very much ongoing and it's moving very quickly. I also said that last week's announcement would not be our last. And let me be clear once again, neither is today's. I want to make two announcements. First, I'm announcing that the Southern District of New York has filed charges against Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, and Gary Wang, a co-founder of FTX, in connection with their roles in the frauds that contributed to FTX's collapse. Both Ms. Ellison and Mr. Wang have pled guilty to those charges, and they are both cooperating with the Southern District of New York. Let me reiterate a call that I made last week. If you participated in misconduct at FTX or Alameda, now is the time to get ahead of it. We are moving quickly, and our patience is not eternal. Second, I'm announcing that Samuel Bankman-Fried is now in FBI custody and is on his way back to the United States. He will be transported directly to the Southern District of New York, and he will appear in court before a judge in this district as soon as possible.
On the foreign scene, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said in a defiant address to U.S. lawmakers on his first foreign trip since Russia's invasion that Ukraine is alive and will never surrender. In a speech where he urged the U.S. for more help, Zelensky said that U.S. military aid to Ukraine was not charity, but an investment in security for the future. His appeal comes amidst signs U.S. support is likely to face greater scrutiny by Republican lawmakers in Congress. President Joe Biden vowed to stick by Ukraine for as long as it takes. Biden pledged a new $2 billion aid package and promised another $45 billion.
There should be no taboos between us in our alliance. Ukraine never asked the American soldiers to fight on our land instead of us. I assure you that Ukrainian soldiers can perfectly operate American tanks and planes themselves. Financial assistance is also critically important, and I would like to thank you very much. Thank you for both financial packages you have already provided us with and the ones you may be willing to decide on. Your money is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way.
Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu said he has secured a deal to form a new government with hardline religious and far-right political partners, which will see him return to power as head of the most right-wing coalition in Israel's history. Following his November 1 election win, Netanyahu secured a mandate to form a government backed by ultra-Orthodox Jewish parties and an extreme right bloc, minutes before a deadline to conclude coalition talks expires at midnight yesterday. Netanyahu informed Israel's President Isaac Herzog by phone that he had been able to establish a government. According to a statement from Netanyahu's office, it was not immediately clear when the new government will be sworn in, but Netanyahu told Herzog he intended to do so as soon as possible. The government in Tokyo is investigating a report that China has set up covert police stations inside Japan amid similar checks by authorities in European countries, the United States and Canada. An Asia-focused rights group based in Spain, Safeguard Defenders, has published 2 reports since September, alleging that Chinese authorities have established 102 overseas police stations in 53 countries, including Japan. China has dismissed the allegations, and its foreign ministry today denied that such police stations existed. Japan's chief cabinet secretary, Hirokazu Matsuno, said Japan had told Chinese authorities that any activity that violated Japan's sovereignty would be unacceptable. In sports, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta says the club took a joint decision of letting captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang leave the club earlier this year. Arteta disclosed this in an interview with former Liverpool defender Jamie Carragher, adding that Aubameyang was not the only player he felt was restricting Arsenal's progression. Aubameyang spent just over a year under Arteta at Arsenal. During that time, the team won the FA Cup, but the striker's final months with the Gunners turned sour as Arteta stripped him of the captaincy following several disciplinary issues. According to Metro UK, Arsenal ended up terminating Aubameyang's $350,000 a week contract in February, which paved the way for his move to Barcelona.
Well, first of all, I didn't take that decision. We took that decision as a club. Obviously, there is my recommendation and what I feel that if we want to get what we need to do that. But I wouldn't like to single point in one player. I think it was with several players. It was part of the strategy, part of what we are trying to build. And at the end of the day, when you are in that process and you want to go faster, there are people that are holding that boat and putting weight on it, and I'm sorry, but we want to go even faster, and there's not time or space for anybody. A player is a staff member, is somebody that is damaging the club, and we made that decision.
Before we end the news, here is a recap of our top stories. At least 11 people have been electrocuted to death and many others injured in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State. The Yobe State Governor Meyi Malabuni has commended President Muhammadu Buhari-led Federal Executive Council for approving the construction of 132 kV substations in Nguru and Gaidam. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said in a defiant address to U.S. lawmakers on his first foreign trip since Russia's invasion that Ukraine is alive and will never surrender. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends the Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Femi Olanipekun. Good afternoon.